Hello and welcome everybody to Let's Pick This Up Next Week, where you get to sit and have a conversation with your two new best friends who happen to be therapists and learn all about what your therapist thinks. I am Dee, and we're also joined by DJ.
Hey, everybody.
So, one of the things I want to talk about today is I live in a part of the United States that was lucky enough to experience totality from the eclipse. And I know by the time this episode comes out, it's gonna be like old news. It's gonna be like a week and a half late. But it was absolutely incredible. Like, DJ, have you ever experienced an eclipse? I know you weren't in totality. Your where you're at wasn't in totality.
No, where I'm at, there was nothing noticeable. But in 2017, the total eclipse went through Southern California, and I was living there, and was actually working at an inpatient, like co-occurring drug and alcohol treatment. So we got to watch with the patients. It didn't seem like it had as much as uproar beforehand. Because, so like when this one was coming around, I'm like, didn't we just have an eclipse? But I think because it didn't go through as many states as this one did.
True. So you saw totality. You saw
Yes. Yeah.
see, I've never experienced totality, and I was kind of feeling so like I'm into the sky and that kind of stuff. Like my grandpa was always big about teaching me about the stars, and so like I fell in love with it. So when I knew
Mhm.
about this eclipse, I was like jazzed. We had in Ohio the one in 2017, but it was a partial, and it was like
Right.
cool. Like I didn't even buy glasses. I like borrowed someone's to like
Mhm.
look, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Like that's cool. What an interesting sight to see. I didn't like that wasn't super like awe-inspiring, but
Right.
experiencing totality, they're so right. It's so much different. But you felt like it was like
Yeah.
meh.
Well, I mean, like there was nothing here, but I mean, I think like back in 2017, I remember like we talked about it, and I remember like we made the shoeboxy things. We didn't have the glasses and all that, but it's funny because I was telling my girlfriend like I was watching the eclipse. It was an admin day for me, so I got to have the TV on, and I was watching the coverage of it and like when it hit Ohio and stuff, and I'm like, I remember like having the box. I remember being gathered around. I remember us all talking about it, but I don't remember like it getting dark. I don't remember like any of
Really?
that stuff. Yeah, like I totally just didn't commit that stuff to memory.
That's wild. Cause I feel maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
because it was only a couple days ago when we're recording this, but it was like I don't know. That was one of the coolest experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I specifically didn't watch anything about what the experience would be like, but I read and listened to podcasts about it, about like
Mm-hmm.
just because I'm like, I don't know, what do I want to pay attention to? So things that like I didn't know not going into it is like it messes with your vision. Your vision becomes less
Mm-hmm.
vivid during it. And I was like, that's, that would have freaked me out if I didn't know that ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So like stuff like that. And then like the coolest thing that I'm so glad I did is someone's like, people are like, stay present, stay present. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, but we've got these phones around us all the time.
Right.
And I want to take a picture because I want to remember the experience. But, and of course I did take a picture because I love taking pictures, but I saw this tip that was like, record yourself having the experience. And I'm like, that sounds kind of silly, like record myself having an experience, but I ended up putting my iPad behind me, and so you could see like my silhouette and the experience of me and my partner just watching it and just being like completely in awe at the experience. That was so cool. Like that's like one of the best things I think is not the pictures I took on my phone that photographers have ones that are 1,000 times better that they didn't take with an
Right.
iPhone 12, but watching the experience of it, like that's really I'm awestruck, truly awestruck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool to be able to have that memory on video of you like actually watching it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of curse words. It's just me being like, "Oh my god, is this really happening? Like this is
Mhm.
wild." And I didn't want to be around a lot of people. So there was a lot of like viewing parties. Like I don't know if that was a thing in
All right.
SoCal when you experienced it, but like every town around here, because I happen to live in the path of totality, like my area got
Mhm.
some of the longest amount of totality. Um, there was festivals and celebrations everywhere, and it was just it was a thing. like everywhere.
Yeah, I don't remember again like the whole big like preamble up to the eclipse in 2017. And I just remember being disappointed that I didn't have glasses and couldn't look and was looking through like a box thing. Like it was all I was underwhelmed because of all of that. And I think
Mm,
that's the part I remember the most. And maybe had there been like the months of like an eclipse is coming and build up for it, maybe I would have been more prepared. I wasn't prepared.
you weren't prepared. They sell the glasses
Hmm.
like even to like the day of. People are walking around handing them out for free.
Yeah.
So there's something psychological about that actually, that sometimes the anticipation of an event is
Right.
way more, it increases the excitation of it. Like it makes it that much
Hmm.
sweeter. Which is something that always I've used to rationalize why I have to plan every moment of every day. It's because I'm like, it's not anxiety. I'm looking forward to things, obviously.
Hmm. Hmm.
But do you notice that for you? Because DJ, you're like a spur of the moment kind of person. You're like I
Hmm.
know we talked about a couple episodes ago. Like I see this thing, like I just go. Do you notice when
Right.
you're looking
Yeah.
forward to something, like you've got a big trip this summer? Do you notice you're more excited than
Hmm.
those kind of last minute ones?
No. I think that it's not that I'm not it's not that I'm not looking forward to. And I think that the thing for me is that when you said that about like being excited and how it can build up the experience, for a lot of my life that was opposite for me. So I would build up the experience to a place that like the
Oh,
reality could never meet that. And that probably was like what happened for me maybe in 2017, because I know back then was still how I was approaching that kind of stuff. So like I try not to build it
mm,
up too much, and like I and so when I would build it up so much, I also didn't get excited. So but now I'm like excited, like I'm looking forward to it, and I'm like happy I get to
yeah.
do it. But like I'm not trying to like think about too much about what it's going to be like. Like I'm going to Europe. These are the countries that I'm going to go see. Period.
Yeah, it's and what you
Hmm.
did, right, is right sizing your expectations of like
Hmm.
I can't control to make it exactly what I wanted in my dreams. Like I think when we hype things up to be like the absolute best outcome, like I try not even
Hmm.
to think about like what could be the best outcome of something, just like what's the minimum outcome I want, right? And
Hmm.
that if I'm
Right.
excited about the minimum outcome, then cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I just simply look into, with this, it's like, yeah, we had like clouds up until like the night before. We were still like,
Hmm.
are we going to be in cloud cover? Is it going to completely ruin it all? But I just had like a good feeling, so I try to resonate with that. But also just like okay, if nothing else, I had the day off work. I got to spend time with someone I love. I got to just enjoy like just that, and so
Right.
I got a cool
Yeah.
T-shirt. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
I
You
did, yeah.
you made t-shirts for yourself, or there was
I
somebody in your secluded spot selling t-shirts?
no, it was Sandusky was having a big thing on the pier, and Sandusky,
Mm.
we'll look for any excuse to like throw a
Hmm.
party on the pier. And so I went over the weekend beforehand, and there was
Oh,
some
nice.
Sandusky t-shirts instead of Sandusky. Oh,
Cool.
come on. Like it was amazing. So obviously I got one of those.
S- Nice. And speaking of Sandusky, I've noticed the last couple of times I've been out there, like downtown, it feels way more tourist friendly than
Mm.
it used to. Like, growing up in that area, like wow, like people were actually like walking around and like look, it just seemed like a destination more than it had growing up.
Yeah, and this kind of ties to like the bigger thing of like what I want to talk about today too, because like
Mhm.
it's that sense of awe, right? And I'll talk about what like all that fun stuff, but like I feel the same way. Walking down, so Sandusky is my hometown. I have an infinity for it.
Mhm.
Of course, I have an infinity for it. And so when I'm there, I just feel really happy and by the water, and so that's awesome.
Mhm.
But the sense of awe that we get by looking at things like nature, like to me, my happy place is the fact that one of my very favorite parks looks over Lake Erie and you can see Cedar Point like right there. Like it's just like
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
gives me the greatest sense of awe. It's literally my background on my phone when I'm like needing that like sense of like pick me up.
Right. Yeah. And it is like looking at this stuff. Like I'm always the person that that now I am this person, right? When I go outside, notice the sunset or notice like, the pretty clouds or notice like all that stuff. And I'll be with a group of people and be like, oh my God, like look at this and look at that. And like just finding it in the moment and really paying attention to all the cool things that are around us.
I always notice it's my ADHD friends that do that. It's always the ones that are like,
Is
"Oh, look,
it?
a cool cloud."
Yeah.
But like
Hmm.
I love that though. Like it's difficult. Where do you find the balance between like I think today it's the battle of staying in the moment versus take a picture of the moment, remember the moment. Where do
Mm-hmm.
you draw the line or find the balance rather between those two things?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think that like, oh, sometimes when I'm at stuff, I'll look over. So I'll aim the camera and look over it. So sometimes I do that, but I do try to be aware of like, I've noticed actually more that there's more times now that I'll leave something and be like, I wish I had taken a picture than
Mm.
constantly thinking to like capture it. But sometimes, like when I'm, with people I haven't seen in a long time, I'm like, oh, I should got a picture with them.
We normally remember to get exactly
Hmm.
one photo when we see each other.
Hmm.
Like just
Yeah,
one. No
right.
more.
Hmm. Right.
Um, yeah, I find the same battle. I like taking pictures of other people.
Hmm.
Because I like taking pictures, but I try to stay in the moment, but then I'm a very forgetful person. So I try to like take a picture or two so I can remember because I'm never going to go back and like look at those pictures necessarily, but like I'll see
Right.
them in a year on my time hop, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
It'll pop. Yeah. Yeah. It'll like pop up in your Facebook
yeah.
memories or your Google folders. It's funny because I was listening to like Sirius XM, the hits channel. And
Mm.
the morning show people were talking about a concert, Olivia Rodriguez, I think.
Oh
And
yeah.
one of them had just been to the concert the night before, and she was talking about how she was there with her family trying to enjoy the concert. And the people in front of her kept asking her to take their picture. And she's like, you don't
Oh
mind, like one time, you go and you take the picture
yeah.
and, and you're happy to help. But she was like, they would look at it and be like, they want the angle from this way. They want it like this.
Oh
They want to
no.
be doing that. They want to be doing this. And she's like, I'm there trying to enjoy the show. She said, I can see like taking a picture out front or taking one picture from
Hmm.
inside, but like you're not enjoying why you're there if your focus is
Hmm.
like on a photo shoot and then asking somebody else to do it and take away from their experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely think like I don't mind being asked to like take photos, and I'm one of those people like I'll just like take a million because I'm like you can delete the ones you don't want. I'll just take
Right.
50 and you can just deal with the consequences later. You asked. But then there's other times where people like I've been on a like a national park or whatever, and someone has like a family followed me and they were like, "Oh wait, can you take our pictures in front of this and in front of this and in front of this?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Mm,
Like, but anyway,
hmm.
but you mentioned I'm gonna try to stay on the topic of feeling awe. I'm gonna try to like
Right.
sit
Yeah.
in positivity. But you brought up music.
Right.
Do you experience chills when listening to music?
I experienced this. It's interesting. I was just talking about this the other day too, and I was asking my girlfriend about this, her experience. Um, because a lot of times I notice when I'm listening to music, and I like to watch like American Idol, and I'm watching that now, just caught up. I was like episodes behind, but a lot of times I'll listen to music and find myself like tears and tears, and not
Mm,
because of the and not because of the lyrics and not because of like it's the sound. So
mhm.
it doesn't have to matter what they're singing at what the words are at all. Just something about like their voice that like would just have me in tears.
I mean, that's power. I think music is one of the most moving things in this world. And there's actually
Uh-huh.
and I looked it up because I've been experiencing a lot more lately. And I think that's partially due to like I did some like Reiki, which like first time Reiki
Uh,
person, that's like a whole thing. I don't
uh-huh.
know. But like cool, since then I've just experienced it more often. I always have to some extent. But it's called frisson. Like I googled it because I'm like, why am I experiencing more chills when I listen to music?
Uh-huh.
Frisson. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And it's a
It sounds,
sensation
is
that
it Swiss? Is it German? It sounds like Farfennugan.
I don't even know how to pronounce it, let alone its
Mm-hmm.
origin. Do you want me to use it in a
Mm-hmm.
sentence? Like, are you ready to
Cinnamon
spell it,
said.
DJ?
Uh-huh. It
Um,
took me back to high school, maybe, or my early 20s when everything was
Bridge.
Farfennugan.
What is wrong? Did you go to school in like the 1800s? What are you talking
I
about?
I did go to school in the 1800s. I went to school in the 1900s. Um, yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, anyway. So without knowing the origin of the term, what the term
Mm-hmm.
means is it says it's like a sensation that's somewhat like shivering that's caused by music or other stimuli that's like we just find pleasing, aesthetically pleasing in some way, or artistically pleasing. And it's usually short duration, 4 to 5 seconds. And like I feel that. And when I looked it up, it's only like 20 to 30% of the population report experiencing that, which
Really?
is wild to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it can't be that rare. I feel sad if people don't feel that way. I feel sad if
The
people don't like,
chills.
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
it just feels like tingly up my spine. It's great.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because the judges on American Idol will often comment on like they'll be like holding their arms up and like looking like look I have the chills. I've
Yeah,
never had that happen, but I do get tears.
I've always wondered because, like, yeah, when people are like, "Oh my gosh, like I have goosebumps or whatever," like I've never
Mm-hmm.
experienced that, but I recognize
Mm-hmm.
like I've always experienced it a different way. I'm just so literal. When people say like that gave me the chills, I
Mm-hmm.
always just assume like goosebumps. I don't think about like the tingly sensation up the back of my spine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, I only get that if someone's standing behind me.
what does that mean?
Like if someone's standing behind me too close, it like makes me all
Oh, like
like yeah.
that's the opposite. That's like hair on the back of your neck, like gross feeling. But this is just
Uh-huh.
like a
Yeah.
like imagine like almost being like
There's a good version of that.
yeah, like imagine just like the nicest little like back scratchy like you know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
I
that's
don't want
kind
to
of what it is.
imagine
It's
that.
like ooh,
No.
okay,
No, that
well,
doesn't sound good for me.
that's hysterical. We are both sensory in two completely opposite directions.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yes.
but it brought me to the concept of I was listening to a podcast. I don't know, maybe a month ago at this point. I want to say it was like Think Again, maybe by Adam Grant. That's not it. Rethinking. I think this podcast is called Rethinking, whatever it is. Anyway, he talked about
Mm-hmm.
cultivating the sense of awe and just like how vital that is and how much it like
Mm-hmm.
just improves our life. Like, and I think we've always done things around it, but there's so much more science of like, I mean, how long have you been told that like, keep a gratitude journal? If you write down 5 things a day that you're grateful for, it can improve your overall health. Like, we know that to be true because part of like that is feeling awe at the world around you. And
Mm-hmm.
research actually shows that people recently exposed to awe, so not just in general people experience it, but recently exposed to awe are kinder, more environmentally friendly, and better connected to others. What do you think
Right.
about
And that's
that?
kind of yeah, and that's kind of like what they were saying, when I was watching the eclipse go through, the path. And all the different cities, and that's what everyone was talking about was the emotion that came with it and the experience of the connection to like knowing that, people were experiencing that same thing all across the United States. And so like yeah, like having that connection. That's the only word I got.
I laugh only because when I was considering like where I wanted to watch the eclipse from, I was originally thinking like, go to Sandusky, go to my hometown, like watch it over the water, which
Mhm.
I've heard was a really beautiful experience. But I couldn't imagine anything less good, less fun, less whatever the word I'm looking for is than being around a bunch of people. Like I felt really connected to like the world and then the history to think
Mhm.
of like
Mhm.
people for however long, hundreds and hundreds of years have been experiencing this long before I ever have. And to think about
Right.
like what that was like then, what it's like now. Like that's what I was more in awe about is like this
Mhm.
is this really
Mhm.
rare experience that like not everyone gets to see. And this, who knows, might be the only one I see in my lifetime. I 100% understand eclipse chasers now, and I probably will go out west in
Mhm.
was it 2044 when the one out there hits.
There's
So
one. Yeah, it's small. That one's like this big on the map.
as opposed to one that's this big
As
on the map,
opposed
I
to
don't
the
know.
one that was like that big.
Well, ours was it was whatever 120 miles wide or something like that for the totality, which is
Mm,
big because it's a spring moon, and like where the moon is compared to the earth in the spring is much different than the fall, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what made it a big difference, is like this was like
oh yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
culminating. But yeah, I don't like feeling connected to people. I want to be connected to the earth.
Yeah,
Like,
to the
leave.
universe and the earth, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you wouldn't like to have done Hands Across America then when I was that
But
talk about something from like way back in the like 88, 86 or something like that was Hands Across America. That was kind of neat, and it was connected to like people all across the United States.
did you touch people? Did you hold people's hands?
Well, the only I didn't, I went with my family, and so I held their hands. I don't
But
think I
they
held a
held
stranger's
strangers'
hand.
hands. Oh.
Mhm.
But someone held
Mhm.
a stranger's hand.
Yeah, I grew up
Um,
Catholic. I'm used to touching strangers'
oh.
hands.
No, I think I have
Peace be
three
with you.
different. No, I think I have three different hand sanitizer bottles within reach, and I am in my own
Hmm.
home. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
there's nothing wrong with me. No, it's fine.
Is
Um,
it the germs or is it people? People in general.
both. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely both. I do get more grossed out about germs, but
Hmm.
yeah, which is why I thought it was interesting that this research is showing that like people who are recently exposed to awe are more environmentally friendly. Like, do we forget that we are of the earth? Like, we are made of freaking stardust, man. Like,
Hmm.
has anyone seen
Yeah.
the
So
movie Wish? It's all about that.
I didn't see it. Did you go compost after then? Is that what happened, Dee?
I did not start my compost yet, but
Hmm.
I am like a recycle, like push the recycle, push the,
Hmm.
don't buy fast fashion. Um, but no, I think like I still charge my phone at night and turn on all the lights when I go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
that's not it.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
was actually, thinking of environmentally friendly, I was in a study when I was in my undergrad at the Ohio State University, because they gave you money. Like, they were like, it's a big research campus. So you have to do a lot of research. And so the
Right.
psychology department had a research study, and it was kind of about, they don't ever tell you what it's about, but it was about 100%
Hmm.
environmentally friendly. So I had to go into this room, and they had me sit at this computer and play this really cheesy, crappy graphic game about like my job was to like cut down trees. So I had to like press buttons and make, cut down trees. And then once that was done, after like 15, 20 minutes, I had to go sit at another table and talk to the researcher, who was like just asking questions about random stuff. And then all of the sudden, in the middle of it, she knocks over a glass of water and is like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Here, there's some paper towels, but I have to go grab the next participant and let them know I'll be running late." And I'm like, "So you're testing me to basically see how many paper towels I use based on what you've primed me with, right? Like, that has to be it." So I started like laughing a little bit, and like there was no other. So anyway, so I always think about that. I really want to know how that study ended up, because I don't remember anything
You
about it
didn't
besides
see.
how I didn't. I didn't look though. So, but I did
Yeah.
laugh.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny. My girlfriend and I just had a conversation last week that we've labeled paper towel and politics, because
Yeah.
those were the particular politics we were talking about, and paper towel. We had differing viewpoints. Because I love paper towel and I will use all the paper towel. I'm not
Oh,
very
like,
environmentally conscious when it comes to those things.
okay.
I'm more about
Are you
convenience. Mhm.
are you a paper towel or a napkin person? Like, which of those do you
Paper
have?
towel. Paper towel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, paper towel. I have napkins in my house, but definitely paper towel.
Like cloth napkins or paper napkins?
Paper napkins. It's just for
Mm,
like when I
yeah.
have people over that I'm like, "Well, I'm not fucking cleaning up after you."
Hmm.
That's what all the
Yeah.
disposables are for. But I
Hmm.
always see the people who like do the reusable paper towels, and I think that's great. But like,
Hmm.
I have dogs, so like what I clean up after, and
Hmm.
they're old dogs, so what I clean up after, I'm like, I am not reusing this for
Hmm.
anything,
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
buddy
No, I like
paws,
to
all that stuff. No,
use it and throw away. Yeah.
maybe one day I'll do a little better. But I
Hmm.
do buy like recycled, like there's like toilet paper that's like recycled paper. It's not
Hmm.
recycled toilet paper. I hope not. I don't know. Well,
No.
but it also makes people kinder when they
Hmm.
experience awe. What do you think about that? When you find that pretty
Hmm.
cloud, are you like just nicer to the world?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think so. I think that if you can like, find joy in that. I looked up when we talked about doing this episode, I was like, looking up like what do I want to talk about cultivating awe? And I think what I like the definition that I found was like the difference between, like short term, like you talked about gratitude. So like the difference between like short term gratitude and like really being able to develop a long term attitude. And I think that like in order to get to the long term, you have to practice the shorter thing. And so that you're kind
Ugh.
of the person who goes and looks for
Mm.
the beauty and everything, right?
Yeah, it's those atomic habits of like when you notice something more and more, eventually you become the person that looks for those things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way with like people who are like just generally optimistic or pessimistic. Like you kind of find what you look for. Um,
Hmm.
I
Right.
I
Yeah.
think for me it's trying to like sit with those moments and try to recall them and like bring them back type of deal. Um, which is why I'm always at war of like take a picture, not take a picture.
Hmm.
Because it reminds me like look at things that are beautiful and like just
Right.
admire. Like
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
I love the people I love so much. I would could never imagine a life without them. However, if you ask me in the last 5 or 10 years, what's the most peaceful and amazing and like rejuvenating, awe-inspiring day you've had, it is hiking Mount Rainier by myself. Like no phone service, no one I knew with
Hmm.
me, like
Right.
just completely just me, my water bottle, and like that's it. Just going. It
Yeah.
was amazing. It was
Yeah.
great.
So, some episode we're going to have to talk about how INFJs end up as therapists, because there's a
Yeah.
higher percentage of INFJs that are therapists than there are in the general population.
That is, yeah. I mean, because isn't INFJ one of the most rare personality types?
Hmm.
Isn't that
It
one?
is.
Yeah.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah.
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 Um, yeah, we definitely need to do one talking about some like personality stuff
Hmm.
and what holds, what doesn't, because some of the stuff out there is complete garbage that for some reason we pay
Right.
attention to.
Right.
Um, but yes, I mean, so like thinking about people who are more introverted and
Hmm.
uh, get that, and people misunderstand being introverted. Introverted doesn't mean I hate people. Introverted doesn't mean that I
Right.
can't be social, right? But introverted means
Right.
my battery doesn't charge that way.
Right. Right. But we get more charged by the time by ourselves, and connecting
Yes.
with like nature or something like that, and being able to really look for the awe-inspiring moments.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes those moments are in solitude.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and actually, I have a lovely little list, DJ, if you want some tips on how
Let's hear
to,
it.
yeah, I really skimmed this article. I don't really know. It's cultivating your sense of wonder, according to this random website that I Googled. So things like decorate your like appreciate art, decorate your home with beautiful objects, listen to music, visit art museums, express your creativity through painting or gardening. What do you think about that?
Yeah, those sound like great things. I think that, being able to, even go like gardening, that's something that I wouldn't do a lot. But I'm looking
Mm,
forward to doing some gardening with my girlfriend this summer. She was like, I got you some gloves. I'm gonna put you to work. I'm like, that sounds great,
amazing.
because like, I like to experience new things. And do things together that, can be bonding.
I think too, it's like it's being of the earth. I can't keep plants
Mm-hmm.
alive. I have excitingly though, I have one peace lily I've kept alive for 2 years, and I recently transplanted it. By recently, I mean 3 months ago, and she's
Mm.
finally giving me a flower. And so I'm like, oh,
Oh,
she's gonna
nice.
be okay.
Hmm.
Because it's not really blooming season for them, I guess. I don't know, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So appreciating art, decorating your home. I love
Hmm.
like throwing some paint on some stuff. I'm one to like when I'm needing some inspiration, I paint my house.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah. Oh, not like throwing some paint on some stuff like Jackson Pollock, because that's what I pictured. He
I would be
literally threw some paint on some stuff. Hmm.
I would be so cool with that. Like I want to do that now. I'm gonna buy a canvas and like
Hmm.
like a squirt gun and put some paint in it or something. Like that sounds
Oh,
really fun.
squirt gun.
I
That's
might do that.
fascinating.
It's getting
Uh-huh.
nice out. I might do that.
Resin painting. I have one of my clients that recently got into resin painting, but I guess that's like an
Oh,
expensive hobby too.
that sounds very expensive.
Hmm.
I want to
Yeah.
learn how to throw pots. I think that'd be fun. Like not literally, but throw pots in like the
Oh, like on
making them
the,
on the
you
wheel.
know, I
I know you
pictured you
too
like,
well.
I'm like,
But
that's a rage room. That's the opposite of awe, is it?
yes, it is. But have you gone to like a
Hmm.
rage room
No,
or
but
like
I
a craft
recommend
room?
them to people all the time. Yeah, you've done it.
I went. I've done it.
Maybe that is awe-inspiring. Maybe does awe-inspiring always have to be come from a place of like joy, or can it come from a place of like irritability?
Irritability. I think well, it's catharsis, but I also like I think
Yeah,
catharsis
right.
is better. But no, I enjoyed it because it was like it's satisfying to like
Mm-hmm.
destroy something.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good, so good.
Did you do the, because
Um,
I think about throwing the stuff, but I also think about the taking a bat and like beating up a TV or something. Did you
that's
do
exact.
that?
Yes, so I threw this place I went to. You could throw stuff at walls, and this room was
Mm-hmm.
like stocked. They had like grandma's old china cabinet. They had a TV. They had a windshield. So I had a
Oh wow.
crowbar, a baseball
Mm-hmm.
bat. I could stomp on things, throw things. I'm like, this was 10 out of 10. They unfortunately closed, and I don't know
Oh
what I'm gonna
really?
do about that in my life because I feel like I need to break
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
that to me that's
a
art,
healthy
you
way.
know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a healthy way. Anger is a valid, healthy emotion, and I think like doing something like that is a healthy way. And I think probably like a healthy expression of anger does help you cultivate awe.
Yeah, I think it allows that like that release and then consider like
Hmm.
just take that step back and not be so fueled by it. Definitely.
Right.
What about another thing on this list is play with children.
Hmm.
Never.
I think kids are no. You're not a kid person.
No.
Hmm. I like
I
it because
have
kids like they're not judgmental. They're they just want to have fun.
there's three littles in my life that I love,
Mm.
maybe four. I won't list them though, just in case I forgot one and they like feel bad about it. But like that I adore and they're great.
Hmm.
But like sometimes um I did watch a movie with one of my littles the other day and he spoiled it because he watched it already. And so like in the first
Mm.
few seconds he's like, "But did you know this happens in this movie?" And it was like the ending. And I was like, "I
Oh,
didn't, buddy.
yeah.
That's so cool. I
Hmm.
can't wait to get to that part." So that does make me feel joy, I guess.
Hmm.
Um Walking your dog. Do you walk? So DJ, you have a
Hmm.
dog. I have two dogs.
I do have
Do
a
you walk
dog.
Lennon?
I do walk Lennon. There are moments of joy, I think, but sometimes he goes so slow, and I'm like trying to get back. If I'm like on a break for work or something like that, it can be frustrating to be like,
Mm,
good. I mean, the good thing is that he's small enough. I can pick him up and be like, "Okay, buddy, we're going back." But like other times, it is like watching my dog. Definitely is something that brings me joy. Like watching him play, watching him,
mhm.
enjoy himself, and like talk about creatures that are always like who are always in awe. They're just so fascinated by everything.
Maybe yes. I don't often get to go out and walk my dogs mostly because like they're older dogs now. Like they are
Mm-hmm.
13 and 11, so they're getting up there. But they love to play with tennis balls, and when it's like nice
Mm-hmm.
out to see like the pit bull sunbathing, like that just makes me really happy. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I think, but dogs are pretty much always happy. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Notice cats aren't on this list. Cat lovers, listen,
But
nobody
you
says
know
you
what?
wouldn't.
Because I had a cat for 18 years, and it's been 7 years since I've had him. And my girlfriend has a cat, and I was petting it, and it started purring, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot, cats purr," and that's a that's a rewarding sound. I mean, it feels nice to like pet a cat, and a cat like
Mm,
purrs, and like they're like, "Hey, I like that."
it is. I'm just a hater because I'm allergic. So,
Mm, yeah.
um, also taking a trip, like taking a trip, plan a trip, expand your thinking, change your literal perspective
Hmm.
is what it says.
Yeah, and like experience other cultures, other parts of the world. Like I'm really looking forward to my trip in Europe. But like
Mhm.
I'm really going there with like not trying to look at all the things that I want to do ahead of time. I really want to be there and just like, and I think we're on a tour too, so there's like some things
Mhm.
we have to do with the group. But I don't know even what those things are. I haven't read about it. I haven't like I'm gonna go and be like, this is great. Like we're gonna go do this today. This sounds wonderful because I used to have to be the person that had to know everything ahead of time. Like I need to see
That
a picture of
shocks
the
me.
hotel room, like, that kind of stuff. What's that?
That shocks me that you've ever been someone who's like, I need to know ahead of time what I'm getting into because I've known you a while
Hmm.
and I haven't
Hmm.
experienced that side of you.
Yeah, I used to go to places like the day before that I'd have to go if it was in driving distance. And I'd go a day before and check out everything. And so that like I knew where to park, I knew where I was supposed to go in, I knew like what to expect when I walked in, like as much as I could. I used to do that.
See, I have a system for trips and I think it
Hmm.
works out really well because I want to know, and this is like not like, day trips or whatever. This is like a go somewhere, staying at a hotel kind of trip.
Hmm.
And like not like I'm flying out for a work trip on Sunday, but like that's a work trip. I like plan some things to do around the hotel, but it's like I'm there for work. It's a conference and one that I actually
Hmm.
like enjoy and go to. But I like plan, so I'll know like I'll set up a variety of days. So I'm like, hey, these three activities are cool things to do in the area and they're all by each other. So I'm going to say this is day like day A we can choose from. And day B we can choose from these things or this one thing is a bit of a trek or like we have to buy tickets. So B has to happen on day 2. But then like when you wake up, you can kind of decide like, you know what, today is a day A. I want to do this stuff on day A and you go do those things. And otherwise it's like, you know what, today's a free day. I don't want to do things. So it's like it is still planning it. 100% it's still planning it.
Yeah, I've never planned to that extent. I might want to know like where am I going to sit and where do I walk in and where do I park, but I've never like planned like that. I don't
Well,
I don't
yeah,
think I could.
see,
It seems
no,
overwhelming.
maybe. I don't know. But to
Mhm.
me, it gets the most out of my trip. Like,
I think so. Like, I mean, someone has to do it, right? That's how itineraries and stuff happen for trips. And that's how, like, I'm going to a trip where someone's already done the itinerary because I can't
that's fair.
imagine.
There you
Hmm.
go. Well, along that is another way to cultivate awe is go outside. Nature is a major source of
Hmm.
inspiration. Watch the sunrise, sunset, buy a bird feeder, or volunteer at a wildlife sanctuary. That's a thing for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
I do like being around nature.
Yeah. I like
Uh,
nature too.
Also, if you're curious on some strategies, this list now goes into some strategies for cultivating awe. Wake up early. Studies show that early risers tend to be happier and more successful. But okay, correlation does not equal causation. Is it because the world we live in is set up for people who work on a first shift mindset? What if you are a
Oh,
person
yeah.
who is a night owl? Like you are the most productive when most people are
Hmm.
sleeping. Who's to say that you're not more successful because or
Right.
you're less successful because you're not awake when there's opportunities?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to fight that one. But another strategy is work out. Regular exercise can help you stay
Hmm.
active as you age, maintain your mental and physical strength and fitness.
Yeah, I've been going to the gym and it's been nice. I go to
Nice.
Planet Fitness and I like that because, it's a gym for people who, aren't
Judgment
bodybuilders
free
and
zone.
right, right. And it's nice to see like people of all ages at that gym. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice when it's not like I used to go to a gym that was very much like it was literally a converted storage unit and which was great. I just went there to go like boxing and that kind of stuff. But it is nice when you see people of all different like okay,
Hmm.
like no one's sitting here staring watching me work out, which is nice. So.
Right. Yeah.
Another strategy is savor your food. Healthy eating is one way of honoring how much your body does for you. Sit down and chew your food slowly. Prepare your own meals and snacks using delicious whole foods. That's a lot.
Mhm.
Gigi, do
Yeah.
you
And
cook all
like,
the time? Do you cook 7 days a week? Do you
um,
like cook all the time?
no, I don't cook very often.
Yeah,
It's
same.
just me. And so, it's hard to like cook for one, I think. I found it
Mm,
that way. A lot of times I'll throw stuff in my air fryer or my Instapot, but I definitely don't prepare like huge meals for myself.
that's fair. Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't really cook. I wish I had more time for cooking.
Yeah, it seems
Maybe
like
I
I
should
don't
get
have
that.
time for that. Yeah, yeah. Maybe after I finish my PhD.
Yes, which you'll do before you go to Europe. I know. I'm manifesting that for you.
That's the plan. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Also, strategy is to help others. Thinking about others reduces anxiety and depression. Practice random acts of kindness and find a career that enables you to have a positive impact. That's a whole. That's
Mm,
a whole career
there we go.
strategy.
We've got we've got all everywhere, Dee.
Why can't I just like I don't know.
Hmm.
Why can't I just help someone that when they need something and then call it a day? Like a
Hmm.
stranger though. I don't want my friends getting like too expectant that I'll
Mm,
help them with things.
right.
Um okay, thinking about helping others though. I'm going to die on my soapbox. What do you think about pay it forward lines at like coffee places? Do you pay for the person
Oh
behind you?
yeah, I think I maybe did that like 15 years ago when it was first a thing. But like I like the sentiment that like the person that's already there like they can get their own coffee.
Yeah.
If you're gonna if you want to do a kind gesture, do it random somewhere else. But also, I don't like when people do a gesture and then they post about it on social media. I think that kind of takes away from like, are you doing it because you want people to be like, good job, or are you doing it because like out of the goodness of your heart?
It's hard because even if you are truly doing it for altruistic reasons, and oh, don't get me started on
Hmm.
altruism. Um, it's hard because it's like, well, what if I just want to bring awareness to like, hey, like this was something really special that, that I didn't realize would make this impact and it did, and how cool. And I don't know, but
Hmm.
I'm with you. I will be the person. I don't care. I'll break the chain. Just if you're gonna pay for
Hmm.
my $5 drink, just put $5 in the tip jar. Like I'm
Right,
fine.
right. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. But anywho, so
Hmm.
that's not the kind of helping others. Helping others, I think, is bigger than that. But
Right.
focus on teamwork, right? Collaborate with others, celebrate diversity, build trust, work on communication
Hmm.
skills. I like this next one better. Try new things. Novelty promotes feelings of awe and helps you stay engaged. I'm
Yeah,
there.
I like
Yeah.
to. Yeah, I like to try new things too, unless they're up really high, and I don't want to do that. Flying, I'll do, but I'm not climbing anything.
Oh, I thought that was a short joke because you're not tall.
Right, I'm not tall, but also I'm afraid of heights. I
That's
don't
fair.
I don't want to zip line or bungee jump or anything like that.
Oh
No,
my
thank
gosh.
you. Skydive. No,
I'm
thank you.
I love zip lining. So fun. I don't know. I like trying new things. I've like the last couple months has been my little journey of like pick a random self-care thing because like getting my nails done, not self-care to me. I don't actually
Mm,
like the process of getting my nails done. Pedicures, sure, but like manicures, no thanks. But and massages are great, but like you can't have a massage every month and like be
right.
like, oh yeah, that's enough. So I did
Mm.
like I did some Reiki. I did one of those like float spa things that's like all of the salt
Ah,
water.
uh-huh.
That was interesting.
Yeah, it's
Um,
nice.
yeah, but it's just something new. So, and then last but not least, keep a journal. DJ, do you keep a journal?
No, I don't like journaling.
What don't you like about journaling?
All the writing.
Aren't you getting your dissertation currently? Like you're writing
Yeah.
your
Yeah. It's not
doctoral
the same.
dissertation?
Like journaling, like I just don't wanna like I tried to keep a diary when I was a kid and
Mm-hmm.
it was a year diary and I wrote in that thing for like 5 years. So that's that's how.
All right. I hear you.
Hmm.
Um, I'm bad at journaling in the traditional sense, but like you saying a year
Hmm.
made me think of. I actually got to read. My grandma passed away several years ago, and I got to read her diary the other day.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I saw it was one of those that like every page was a different day of the year, but it was like January 15th, like, and then she would write bullet points every January 15th of like what was special about that day.
Oh,
That
okay.
was so cool. And of course, selfishly,
Interesting. Yeah.
I went to my birthday and got to read everything she said about me on my birthday.
Oh,
Uh,
that's
and that made me
sweet.
so happy. But so I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
like I would like to do something like that. I won't stick to it, but it'd be
Hmm.
cool.
I do recommend, and I haven't done it in a while. There's a 5 minute gratitude journal that
Mm-hmm.
that I like, and I like it because it's not dated. So you can pick it up whatever day and do it. But something like that, like what are the things that you're grateful for? What is your intent for the day? You do it 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. That's kind of neat.
That means I have to wake up 5 minutes earlier, though.
Hmm.
Mm.
Or you can do it while you're like having your coffee, which is what I was doing.
Oh no, I gotta wake up, get out of bed, and go. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm a snoozer, but I like involving like apps with that stuff. I downloaded this app a while ago now, and I highly recommend it. It's Agape, I think is how you pronounce
Mm-hmm.
it. I think it's Agape.
Mm-hmm.
It's great because it focuses on that connection, like it talks about, but it's also like
Right.
a little bit of writing. So like there's a prompt for those who like don't know. DJ, I don't know if you have the app, um, but like you connect with someone. So like I've got like my partner's on there, and one of my best friends is on there. She never responds, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day there's just like a little prompt, and you can pick a random one or around a category. And so like today's was like, what's something you're looking forward to in the next week? And so I just write like this little like, oh, and then when I answer, then it shows me the other person's answer. So then I can see what they wrote for the
Oh,
day.
I've
So it's
heard of
like,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it's
That's
a nice little way to
cool.
connect.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of them are conversation starters, but yeah, it's definitely, you can add little memories in there. It's cute. I like it. It's a good app. So I guess I will
Sounds
now
cool.
think about that app as a part of my cultivating awe.
Cultivating awe.
Yeah,
Good.
why not?
Mhm.
TJ, what are you going to do between now and when we pick this up next week to cultivate a sense of awe?
I'm gonna go outside this weekend. I feel
Amazing.
like I've been spending a lot of time out just walking around. So I'm gonna take a break
Mm,
from my dissertation and go take a walk.
that sounds amazing. I love it. I'm going to do my best to cultivate my sense of awe, find a new smash room maybe, or rage
Oh,
room or
nice.
whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a good stuff. But yeah, so cultivate a sense of awe, highly recommend, helps improve mood, all of that good jazz. So we want to hear from you. What do you do to cultivate your sense of awe? Did this list get it? Did it not? And also, you saw the eclipse. How was it? Was it life changing or was it meh? I can't believe anyone who would say it was meh like DJ, but I suppose your opinion is equally valid. But well, thanks everybody for joining us this week on Let's Pick This Up next week. And we hope to see you very soon and talk about more exciting things of what your therapist really thinks about with Dee and DJ. So we will see you all next week.